Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to another live stream. It's been a little while. Yeah, it's been like a good month or two since I've done a live stream. But yeah, just quickly, just want to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate. I hope you have a great time. Stay safe. And yeah, a little bit about today's live stream. So back when I was doing Star Wars Go Figure podcast, I did a little series called Star Wars Go Figure Fan Features, in which I brought on a different Star Wars fan and basically got to know them as a Star Wars fan a little bit. So not going to leave Christopher backstage too long. You may know him on YouTube as Seriously Star Wars, and yeah, I'll make sure I may have put links in there already. I can't remember. I organized this like a week ago. But yeah, we're just gonna have a nice casual hangout and chat and talk things about the end of the year, and let's bring him on. Christopher, welcome.
Hey Jesse, thanks for having me on.
No worries at all. I'm glad you could find the time in this busy time of year. So
yeah, no, it's nice that both our schedules worked out to align here, where we both had some time off here before the holidays. So it's all good.
Yeah,
looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I obviously had to reschedule a little bit, just with working days got swapped around last minute, just as I'd scheduled that last one for. That was a few days ago now, but then obviously I had to change it very quickly. But it was all good. It worked out now. So yeah, how's 2023 been for you?
It's been a good year. I mean, as far as like collecting, it's been a really good year. So I'm more like on the Funko Pops. Yeah, I know you're like big into the Black series, but I collect more of the Funko Pops. So it's we've gotten some good stuff, especially the last month or so. Like I got my battle damaged Darth Vader in. My friend Patrick, who co-hosts the Star Wars Popcast with me, he sent me the Thrawn that was a Target exclusive. So really happy about that.
Awesome.
Yeah, so some really good pops. So looking forward to doing my every year I do a top 10 Funko Pops from 2023 that I own. So there's going to be some really good ones in that video coming up next week. So
excellent. Yeah. So yeah, if you're watching and you're not subscribed to Christopher's channel, where can folks find you? Just in case I forgot, I can't see my video, so I'm not sure if I put links there.
Yeah. So on YouTube, I'm Seriously Star Wars, and then on Instagram and Twitter or X and TikTok as well, I'm Seriously SW. So you can find me there. And basically, I do weekly Star Wars reviews and some podcasts every Saturday, 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, or 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We do the Star Wars Popcast, myself and my two friends, Patrick and Lex. So yeah, we do that every Saturday morning, which is a fun time. So yeah, should definitely swing by and say hi.
Yeah, do it. Absolutely. So look, just a little bit about your YouTube channel. How long have you been doing YouTube for, and what was it that sort of got you inspired to start it?
So I started 2021. I think I started doing this. So I'm coming up just about 3 years, because I started in like February 2021. So yeah, coming up 3 years. And I don't know, I've seen people like yourself doing the reviews back when you had your old space there with the white shelving and stuff. I think is what some of the earlier videos I've caught. And Jedi Master 738 did some awesome reviews, and I was like, you know what, I could do this. So I just hit record one day, and I was like, yeah, you know what, this is fun. I'm already buying the figures anyways, so might as well hit record.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, that's pretty much what got me into it. Like, just seeing other people share their passion. It's it's infectious. And we all sort of do similar stuff. We all sort of, I don't know, talk about what we like, and it's all about sharing love and passion for Star Wars. And obviously, given your channel name, you're serious about it. So
yep.
It's a way of life.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, thanks everyone for coming and tuning in. Whoever's here so far, I'm going to try my best to put up as many of these comments as I can, and we'll try and get some any questions and stuff in between. So yeah, earlier in the week I did send you a bunch of questions to have a look over, and we'll go through them. And I very last minute found them here on my phone. So just as a way to kick off, what are your first memories of Star Wars?
So my earliest memories of Star Wars. So my parents had like, I don't know, it must have been recorded on like the old Betamax tapes. We had copies of the original trilogy on there. So they were playing around the house. They were on the TV around the house, from time to time. So I would catch glimpses of it, but I didn't really get into like bitten by that Star Wars bug until about 97 when the special edition came out. And my dad took my brother and I to the theater, and we saw A New Hope and Empire and Return of the Jedi. I think they came out that like all 1 year. I think they showed them. Yeah, I think it was like 1 year they did like all three of them, right? Like over the course of a few months, I believe.
Yeah.
So that was
Yeah.
that's probably my earliest memory of it, and probably my fondest memory as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, 97, like that was that was 10 years after I was born in 87, so I'm
okay.
currently 36. So yeah, those sort of mid 90s were a very important time for the kind of person I've become today.
Yeah, same here. Because like after 97, I was just like, okay, yeah, I like this stuff. Can I get like some of the toys and stuff? And my parents bought me like the action fleet, like the Micro Machine action fleet ships with the little figures and stuff.
Yeah,
had a lot of the transforming heads that opened up, and you could have the play sets. So yeah, just it was just a great time growing up as a kid with all these cool Star Wars toys. That like there's a lot of cool stuff now, but stuff from the 90s, you can't beat that stuff.
It's nostalgia. It's the same with the older generation with their Kenner sort of vintage stuff from the 70s and 80s. It's it's the next generation of Star Wars collecting and toys, and nostalgia for us to grab onto and thrive off probably too much.
Yeah.
Just got one question for you here from Paul's Collectibles. How many pops do you have now? And do you keep count?
So I track it on the Funko app, because Funko's got an app you can track it on. So I track it as best I can on there. I think I'm at 430-ish pops. So
wow.
Yeah, getting up there, slowly running out of space. Yeah.
I was gonna say, that'll be 500 within 12 months time, won't it? That's gotta be
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Creeping up on there.
He says 430. Wow.
Yeah.
He also says I'm old. I saw Star Wars in theater in 19777.
Wow.
That's
vintage,
awesome.
like the figures, Paul.
Yeah.
Not old. Vintage.
Vintage human.
Yeah.
All right. So, given the amount of films we have these days, you've got to have a favorite.
Oh yeah. So, so my favorite film out of all the Star Wars films, and there's some great ones, because as you know, like when you were on my channel, about a month ago, I think you were on the fan battle with me, and we were talking, I think behind the scenes, that we're both sequel fans. So, but my favorite film out of all of them is Empire Strikes Back. Just because like after seeing A New Hope and then seeing Empire in theaters on the big screen, that Hoth battle with those big, like when you're when you're that young, because like I was probably, how old was I? I was 12 at the time. So like seeing the seeing those big monster machines walking around on the ice planet and the speeders zooming by, like that was just incredible seeing that on the big screen. So just that just resonated with me. And then like the big reveal, like the spoiler alert, Darth Vader being Luke Skywalker's father, right? Like that was just, like,
if you don't know that by now, you know.
Yeah. So that Empire is my favorite, and in my opinion, the best as well. So
yeah, no, it's definitely up there. Like I don't know, mine changes all the time. I don't know. It changes depending on my mood.
Yeah,
but I'll probably say 9 times out of 10 it does go to Empire. Just
yeah,
I don't know. That was the first one I ever watched as a kid. I remember watching it on like a recorded VHS tape from the TV, and it's I don't know. There's just something that grabbed. That's the film that grabbed me as a kid, and really sort of pulled me in.
Yeah. So for me, like Empire is a favorite, but I find myself watching Revenge of the Sith probably more often though. So
yeah,
it's just
yeah,
such a great movie, and with everything that happens with Anakin and his turn to the dark side and everything like that, like that's one that I put on quite a bit.
Yeah,
also,
that's the movie you
Jedi
watch
as
when
well.
you want. Yeah. Revenge of the Sith is the movie you watch when you want to catch some feels, where you're just like, I want something to impact me emotionally today, so I'm going to put Revenge of the Sith on.
Yeah.
I think Last Jedi does that for me too. Like it just, I don't know, there's something about it that just hits me.
Yeah.
Don't at us. All right, so Empire Strikes Back, favorite film. Who is your favorite character?
Okay, so my favorite character. So if you haven't seen the channel yet, my favorite character is Darth Maul. So this guy right here. I'm pretty sure I've got all his pops by now, or the majority of them. But just I don't know, seeing him in the episode 1 trailer with like the doors opening up, the blades coming out, that I was hooked, and like so much mystery, and then what Dave Filoni did and brought him back in the Clone Wars, and Sam Witwer did an amazing job, taking what Peter, the guy who did the voice of Darth Maul in episode 1, Peter Fenowitz or whatever his name is, Sam Witwer, Sam Witwer kind of took that and added to that, and overall just a great character.
He has become, I think, as soon as episode 1 was done, I think George realized what he'd created.
Yeah.
And realized the mistake of killing him off so soon, because he could have been. I had to make way, obviously, for Anakin to come in, and had to do what it needed to do. But I don't know, to basically tell Dave Filoni, look, bring back Darth Maul. And he's like, well, you chopped him in half. You can't do that. And George is like, no, you'll find a way. You'll find a way.
Yeah. Great. Yeah. He realized it. I mean, he even had plans to have him in his George had plans to have him in his sequel trilogy. As far as I know, right? So that would have been insane.
I said, yeah. He's become such a rich character too. Like, such a flawed character, but almost towards the end, you almost sympathize with him too.
Yeah, and very calculating too. Very calculating.
Like his story arc in Siege of Mandalore at the end of the Clone Wars. Like, if that had gone a little bit differently, like he could have been. It could have been very, very different.
Yeah.
I
think we need some sort of like Star Wars what if, so like what if Ahsoka and Maul teamed up and actually joined forces and took out Palpatine and took out Anakin and stuff like that. We need a what if series. Yeah.
Or like what if Anakin sent Ahsoka to go save Palpatine, and Anakin and Kenobi went to Mandalore and face Maul, and what if Maul killed Anakin and Obi-Wan? And yeah, could have been very different.
Yeah, very different. Yeah.
His solo appearance was awesome. Was hoping for more. Yeah. I do love. We were watching this at work one day last week, and I love at the end, like he's talking to Kira, and he just like he grabs his lightsaber and he turns it on, and it's just like, look at this. Yeah, I've got one of these, and he just turns it off. Like it's just like, look what I've got. Yeah.
I was hoping for a solo too. I'm still hoping one day we'll get some sort of solo sequel, whether it be like a Disney Plus series or something. But we need more Maul. Yeah.
All right, we got one question here from Eddie88 Lego Jedi. He says, "When did you first start collecting Star Wars pops?"
So the pops, I blame my wife for the Funko Pops because when I saw them in store, I didn't really have much interest. So my wife picked me up a bunch of them. So she got me like the Padme, the Attack of the Clones Padme in the white arena outfit. I think she got me like a Max Rebo, couple like exclusives. And then just after that, I was just kind of hooked. So that was probably like 2013 maybe, because I think the Rebels pops were still at Walmart at the time, and even those, like I saw those at Walmart, and I was just like, I don't know if I need those ones, because like at the time I hadn't even seen Star Wars Rebels. So, but now I'm kind of kicking myself. I should have grabbed those up from the shelf. Like I should have just been like, you know what, I need all the Star Wars pops. I should grab those. But now I'm kicking myself about that one. But yeah, probably about 2013 is when I started collecting Star Wars Funko Pops. So awesome. They slowly multiply.
They do. Yeah, it's like action figures. They just, before you know it, you lose count.
Yeah.
How many do you guys have altogether? If we're talking Funko Pops, I have, let me count. I can probably count them on one hand. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5. I have 5. I have 2 different. I have Boba Fett from Mandalorian Season 2.
Yep.
I have the animated color Boba Fett, like the blue one.
Okay. Holding the rifle there with the yellow rifle, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I just had to look over to my shelf. I have the flocked Porg.
Nice.
I have Princess Leia, just regular New Hope Princess Leia, and I have Red Snaggletooth.
Yeah.
I think that's all I have. I'm just sort of scanning around. I think, I've only ever... Yeah, I think that's all I have. Oh, maybe I've got a Darth Vader as well. No, I don't. I don't have a Darth Vader. I have a Darth Vader shrine, but I don't have a Darth Vader pop there.
Oh, have to send you one maybe.
I'll find. There's actually plenty of.
That's actually the one who started me on this crazy Funko Pop journey. Mrs. Seriously Star Wars right there. So.
Oh, he's got some comments. Lots of folks here. This is awesome. Thank you all for coming and hanging out.
Yeah, chat's on fire.
I'm going to try and get through some questions. Ian says he can count mine on one thumb. That's awesome. That's funny.
Yeah.
Next question for you from me is, where are we? What's your favorite background character or alien?
Ooh, background character. So when I saw this question, this one's the one that I had to think about, because there's so many cool looking characters in Star Wars, especially like in the prequels. Because like in the original trilogy, there were cool ones, but the prequels is where George kind of went nuts there. So background character / alien. So for like alien that's not background, I would say Jar Jar. And I know some people are going to hate that answer. But like for background character, I would say Moroff from Rogue One.
Yeah.
So yeah. So for those who don't know who Moroff is, it's that white furry, almost Wookiee looking character with the big metal piece on the mouth. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're just walking around with that huge blaster in their hand, right? So I was just like, yeah, that's a cool looking alien.
It is. It's almost like, like kind of what they did with they sort of took like a Wookiee and a Wampa and squished them together and made another together. Yeah, and they sort of did that with Jedi Survivor, where they had the brown Wampa and they called him something else. I can't remember what the name of the species was.
Yeah.
Rogue One had some great aliens in it, like just through that Jeddah city.
Yes.
Moroff obviously being one of them, but like Pow, the one with the open mouth in the rebellion of the Rebel Squad, and what's
the one known as Two Tubes? Is it with the
Two Tubes?
Yeah.
Awesome stuff.
Yeah, I love that. What's your favorite alien then? Do you have a favorite?
I do. It changes all the time, but I sort of always revert to Plo Koon being my favorite Jedi and go with the Keldor or the Dorians. I think they're called, the alien species are called Dorian. I can't remember, or Keldor. I can't remember. It's my brain completely flying. I don't know. It's hard because I like Slice Noodles. I wish there were more of her species in the Star Wars universe at some point.
Yeah.
It's just wacky, crazy stuff. I don't know. The crazier it is, the weirder it is, the more intriguing I find it. I love that sort of whimsical side. Like Max Rebo, he's fantastic.
Yeah, like Sebulba is another one like that. Like when you see him walking around on his hands, it's like, okay, that's it's pretty crazy.
And I like Max Rebo because for years we thought he's had arms and legs because that's how Canada interpreted the action figure. But when you find out he's playing piano with his feet, like he's just like his bum's on a cushion, he's playing with his feet. Like if you look up a picture of concept art for Max Rebo, and it's like, oh wow, that's actually how he is in the movie. When you look at it closely, it's a bit nutty. It's weird.
Yeah,
but I love that sort of whimsical stuff. Hey, Poptography's joined.
Hey, Patrick.
Jacob Stanko's in the house.
Hey, Jacob.
Oh, keeping an eye on what you're saying. I am. But we've got a lot of questions to get through for Christopher here, so we'll get some more questions through out there. Definitely taking on board what everyone's saying. It's awesome. I appreciate everyone being so active in the chat. It's really good. So your favorite droid? Sort of getting to the end of the favorite.
Yeah. So the favorite droid, that was a little bit easier for me. I just love K2SO. Just how like matter of fact he is, and like
straight to how he
handles straight to the point, and how he handles sarcasm and stuff. It's just great. Like Hu Yang's very similar, but just K2 is kind of like a little more
attitude.
I don't know what the word is. Attitude, yeah, a little more sass. So
yeah,
and I can't wait to see him in Andor season 2.
Oh, big time! It needs to happen. Like, hopefully it comes in quite early. Like, needs to happen. Actually we've been talking a lot about Andor season 2 just because at work, just because Andor season 1's so great, and K2 hasn't even come into the equation. We're sort of so fixated on talking about like Cassian and how they're going to tie in, how they're going to bring it up to speed with the start of Rogue One. K2 hasn't even sort of come to mind, to be honest. And it'll be really, really cool to see him back.
Yeah, the thing I love about Rogue One or Andor is because like we already know how it ends, right? We know it ends with them leading into Rogue One, but we're still getting all this backstory on Andor and all these other great characters, right? So
Yeah.
it's awesome.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were kind of like, "Oh, we know how it ends. Why would we be interested?" And it's like, it's not about the destination; it's about the journey. And
Yes, yeah,
far out that season, what a journey that was! It's just incredible. Just so,
yeah,
I don't know how to put it into words. It's just goes from micro to macro on so many different levels.
yeah. I mean, you could say the same thing about the prequels too. Like how the prequels end, right? With Anakin becoming Darth Vader, but it's all that stuff in between, like Rogue or Revenge of the Sith, like all that emotional stuff with Anakin, the highs, the lows. Like it's incredible.
For sure. Excuse me for a moment. So yeah, K2SO, what an awesome droid. That's one thing that the Disney era has done a great job of, is bringing in a lot of different droids. Like you touched on Hu Yang, K2SO, BB-8, even BD-1 through the Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor games, and
L337 from Solo.
Yeah, that's probably the one that has probably not grabbed me as much. I'm not sure why. There's a little bit too much personality with that droid, perhaps. So I'm not sure. There's I don't hate it. I don't hate L3. It's just, I don't know. There's just something about it. It just doesn't grab me like some of the others do.
I like what they did with her, and they made her the brains in the Falcon, pretty much like the navigation system in the Falcon. Cool. That was a cool. Yeah, I was not expecting that.
Because that's a nice link with Empire Strikes Back, where Han says, I need you to talk to the Falcon, find out what's wrong with her.
Yeah.
And it's like, and C-3PO saying, the Falcon speaks a very strange, dialect sort of thing. And it's just like C-3PO being this completely logical sort of droid wouldn't understand that sort of sassy sarcasm from L3. Like, it's, I don't know, that's kind of cool. I do like that idea.
Yeah, it's a nice connection for sure.
All right, what moment in Star Wars makes you happy?
Okay, so happy. So I would say Rise of Skywalker. So the final scene where all the ships arrive and Lando's like, there's more of us, Poe. Like that scene, I just get I got a smile on my face, chills. Like the only other movie that gave me chills,
just thinking about it.
Same. But like the only other movie that I had that feeling with was Avengers Endgame, when all the superheroes came through the portals at the end. Like Rise of Skywalker, that moment in Rise of Skywalker did that for me. Like as messy as that movie was, like it had great moments, but that was probably the best moment for me in that movie.
I say the same thing about Rise of Skywalker. There's, as much as it is you said, messy, that's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah,
I still love everything about it. Like I love watching it. I have so much fun watching that movie. It's it's got lots of stuff in it that I love, but it's just a little bit differently executed. Could have gone a long way. They're able to just slow it down a little bit, perhaps. I think it's a very, very fast paced movie. I think they could have afforded to. I know when it was sort of in production, there was a lot of talk about it doing 9 and 10, like splitting it into 2. And I think that would have benefited in the long run. But it is what it is, and it does. It's still a fun movie to watch.
And that's the thing about all of Star Wars. Like, I think sometimes people forget that Star Wars 1 was meant for kids. Like the whole time George said it about the original and the prequels, they're meant for kids. And then 2, like, they're just meant to be entertaining. Like none of them are perfect. Empire is damn near perfect, but they're all meant to be just like entertaining and escape from reality. And that's how I see them. Like that, I don't see like, oh, that's really bad acting or that doesn't make sense. Like I enjoy it all.
Yeah, I'm very similar, very, very similar. I think if you're having fun, if it does give you that escape, it makes you feel like a kid.
Yeah,
that's exactly what you want from it. So to pedal back on that question, what moment in Star Wars makes you sad?
So that one's Revenge of the Sith. So Order 66. just the music that plays through that entire scene where the troopers are killing all those Jedi, and you go from planet to planet, seeing the deaths of all those Jedi. Like, just that music, just the music itself. Like, if you listen to it by itself, it's so sad. Just hearing that music as well.
Yeah. Yes, it's putting headphones on or earbuds and listening to the score for that moment.
Yeah.
Like Anakin's dark deeds and all that. Like, it is. And then Disney's like, here, we're going to throw you a bunch of Order 66 stuff in every single show, and you can relive it over and over again.
Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for, because I love anything that makes you feel something, like, whether it's happiness or sadness or something that has an emotional impact is huge. That's you can't ask for anything more than that. If you're getting an emotional punch in the guts from something, like saw it with young Kanan Jarrus in Bad Batch, where they showed his master being gunned down, and then Grogu's escape and all that from the temple and through Mandalorian. It's just, and then even Obi-Wan Kenobi, there's a little flashback there at the start, and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
You watch Revenge of the Sith, and it's like you got so much more context for those scenes now as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does.
All the connectivity. It's just I love what they're doing with it.
I'm just gonna jump onto another question here. All your Pops / Star Wars stuff contained to one room?
Yeah, for now. I try and keep it contained to the one room. Yeah. Slowly running out of space, as I said. So I think the plan is to get a couple more of the Detolfs here and put them where my desk is, where I am right here, and then I'm thinking of putting my desk on wheels so I can kind of move it around the room and just kind of switch up the background, every once in a while.
Yeah.
At the same time. Yeah. So I have a little more space I can work with, but not too much.
That's one thing a Star Wars collector or a collector in general will never have enough of, and that's space.
Yeah, enough space. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we could just have everything, and you just need more room for it.
The burden of all collectors.
It is. It really. But it's hard to avoid things sort of seeping out of the room. Like, even here, where I've been in this house here for 6 months now already, which is just crazy to think about. Already have collections like leaking into other rooms of the house. I'm lucky I've got a very, very awesome girlfriend who finds it cool as well. So it's good. So it's not a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
I try. Yeah. Star Wars stays in here, and that's fine. So
yeah,
it's a nice little escape.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's what I love about it too. Having my own little space. I can just come in here, record some videos, open some toys at the same time, and it's an escape.
Absolutely. Just making sure there's no more questions here in the chat before we continue on. See, wet from cut to cut. Yeah. Ahsoka and Maul sensing Order 60. Yeah, that was a great moment, Ian. Absolutely.
Yes.
Chewbacca's reaction to hearing that Leia died in Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, that hit hard. That
one did. Yeah.
The way they got him to roar, that was a very pained roar. Reclaiming the kids' playroom to be my collection room. Best thing ever. Greetings, my friend. Palpatine 1975.
Hey, Palpatine.
Great to hear from you as always. What's your favorite Star Wars quote?
So I like quite a few. So like you gotta like the Yoda's do or do not. There's no try. But Qui-Gon said, "Your focus determines your reality," and I think that one's just it's inspirational because it's so true, right? Like
It is.
if you want something bad enough, you focus on it, and you're gonna achieve that goal, pretty much, right? So,
that's one of mine too. That really is.
Yeah. And then another good one, not as great as that one, but it's still a good one. Shmi said, like, you can't stop change more than you can stop the suns from setting. Like another one that's like, that
one gets overlooked quite a lot too. That gets very overlooked. That's a good one. But the Qui-Gon one especially, like, you focus on. We all go through stuff in our lives that sometimes it's a negative impact, and sometimes it gets you down, it bogs you down. But if you focus on being miserable and not trying to, you've got to change the way you think in order to progress and get better. You've got to change your focus, and it will determine the reality. It's dead right.
If you stay negative, that's how you're going to be. You're going to be negative, right? You focus on the negative stuff.
Probably my favorite one, which is what I've got it tattooed on my arm. It's never tell me the odds. That's, I don't know. It's it's almost like just sort of saying, you know what, I'm gonna do what I want to do the way I want to do it. No one can sort of tell me otherwise. I'm gonna live the life I want to live.
I'm gonna make my own odds.
Exactly right. Exactly. All right, sort of trailing off the favorite quote, I'm going to skip a question and come back to the next one.
Okay.
What's your favorite life message in Star Wars?
So, I think my favorite life message came from the sequel trilogy, actually, because, or at least the Force Awakens and the Last Jedi, what they were trying to say there with the whole Rey being a nobody, and then. Well, I guess over the whole trilogy, actually, because, she's a Palpatine, but she kind of just, like, shakes that off, and, it doesn't matter. So, like, it doesn't matter what your name is, what your last name is. Like, if you're like Ted Bundy's relative, that doesn't make you,
No.
You're your own person. You make yourself, right? So, I think, that's a huge...
and that stems from, your focus determining your reality.
Yeah.
If Rey
and they had the same theme in the original trilogy too, with Luke and, like, finding out Darth Vader's your father. It's the same thing, right? He could have been like, okay, this guy's this evil, like, the baddest guy in the galaxy is my dad. Like, I could just, take the easy route and also be this evil guy because it's in my blood, or I can, be this beacon of hope, right? So, arguably, it's all the same.
And arguably, Luke sort of carried that fear with him his entire life, like up until where we find him deserted on an island. He felt like he needed to pull himself out of the game because he had the potential to become Vader, and in potentially, if he was to cut down Ben Solo and to stop him from becoming who he'd become, he'd be giving into anger the same way he would have if he'd cut down Vader in Return of the Jedi. So, but where you go back to Rey, basically making that decision to say, you know what, it may be my blood, I might have Palpatine's blood, but I'm not going to be what he is. And she takes on the Skywalker name. I know. I still don't understand why everyone has such an issue with her taking the Skywalker name when the whole premise of Star Wars is about, your blood doesn't make you who you are. It's you are who you make you are. And the fact that she decides to take on the Skywalker name to carry on the legacy of her teachers is, more. Some things are stronger than blood. We learn that throughout the original trilogy. We learn that through the prequels. It's one of the biggest themes in Star Wars. So I still don't understand why that's, people gotta, it's just a name. It's just a name. It's not who we are on the inside.
Yeah. So I actually did a video on that topic, actually, about Rey taking the Skywalker name and why I think it makes sense. And my main reason for it making sense is because when Ben Solo, he's got that mighty Skywalker blood in him, like Luke said. When he transferred that life force energy into Rey, he transferred some of that Skywalker life force into her. So I think that makes sense that she feels like she's somewhat of a Skywalker now. Right?
Absolutely, yeah. I hadn't thought about it that way.
Yeah.
All right, after this, I'm going to go back and watch your video and see exactly what you pieced together there, because I know that the one thing the sequel trilogy lacked is a little bit of exposition when it comes to things like, when Rey and Ben touch hands through the Force in The Last Jedi. Like, the way that they didn't explain it was that, they were able to, the whole dyad effect, and, they were able to become one when they touch each other. So Ben was able to learn everything about Rey's past. Rey was able to learn everything about Ben's past. In a sense, she was able to do everything that Ben Solo, Kylo Ren was able to do, and he her.
Yeah.
In that sort of dyad connection. They didn't really explain that in the film to that degree. So people don't really, it's not clear understanding of, Rey being able to go, oh, well, because I've had that connection with that close physical connection with Ben Solo now, or Kylo Ren, she's now able to do things with the Force that she wasn't able to do before that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think had that sort of explanation came through a little bit strongly, people probably wouldn't have that complaint about her being overpowered.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, again, that's one of the little pitfalls to the sequel trilogy, which it is what it is. But hopefully that's something that they can sort of draw on in the future.
Yeah, or even do something in one of the Disney Plus series that kind of touch on that. Even would be great.
Yeah, or even they're doing the Rey film, maybe touch on that and sort of.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, a half an hour monologue about how she learned how to do stuff. It's just 10 seconds of dialogue could literally explain that.
Yeah. Yeah. So I can't remember where I saw it. Somebody had a theory that in The Force Awakens, when Kylo's interrogating Rey, he kind of unlocked her Force potential during that moment, and that's why she's just all of a sudden strong with the Force.
That's a good point too.
I kind of like that idea.
Adam Driver as a Force Ghost in a Rey movie.
Yeah.
I would prefer Ben Solo to have the ability to be the one. I always thought it was going to be Luke. Like, going into the sequel trilogy, Luke was going to be the one to cross over and then physically manifest himself again as a real life being.
Yeah,
I'd like to see, maybe Ben Solo's that one that could cross over into the physical realm as a physical being once again.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of seeing hints of that, like with the Ahsoka series. How, I mean, it's in the world between worlds, but that's what Anakin kind of did. He kind of brought his physical self back into the real world, I guess, if you will, even though it's in the world between worlds. So, yeah, I'd be down for that.
You never know.
Yeah.
So another collecting question: do you only collect Star Wars pops, or do you collect other themes or movie pops?
So I've been very tempted to start collecting other movie pops and TV show pops, because like I see some of the Transformers ones, the Power Rangers ones, that they're all nostalgic seeing some of those characters, right? But it's just like, no, I gotta resist, because I don't want things to get too out of hand. Like, I've already got, like I said, over 400 probably about 430 pops, right? Just Star Wars. So, and they keep coming out with them. So they keep coming out with them. I'm gonna keep buying them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't want to go too crazy.
That's another thing I have to think about now is I do have a couple of non-Star Wars pops in the rest of the house. I do have the Blink-182, What's My Age Again 3-pack.
Oh yeah.
Where they're not wearing any clothes, and Blink's like my all-time favorite band, so I had to get them when they were released. It was that ridiculous, and I'm like, no, I've got to have this thing. I've got to have this set. And we do have a couple others throughout the house. My girlfriend, she's got a collection of Labyrinth pops
Nice.
from a bunch of years ago. She's got a couple of Jokers, a couple of Harley Quinns, a Batman, a couple of Ninja Turtles. We've got a few others scattered around the house that aren't Star Wars. So
yeah.
A question here from Andy. Do either of you collect Star Wars Lego sets? For me, personally, very sparingly these days. Probably around 2015, 16, 17, I was going pretty hard on the Lego. And it was just too much. I couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah.
So now the last one I got was Ahsoka's T6 shuttle, and I was quite content just to sit with that set now.
Yeah. For me, I used to, like, back in, I don't know, 2000. No, maybe even earlier than that. Maybe 99, 2000. I had some of the earlier sets of Lego, but then I was just like, you know what? I'd kind of switch focus. But now I do have a small collection of Lego minifigures, no sets yet, so I'm trying to stay out, away from going down that rabbit hole. But seeing some of the helmets, like the helmet Lego sets, like the Dark Trooper, I'm a big fan of the Dark Trooper and how they made them look in The Mandalorian. That set is very tempting for me to get, but I haven't yet.
Yeah, some of the helmets look really good. We've got a few of them on display at the shop where I work. For those who don't know, I work in a hair salon called Kessel Run Hair and Collectibles, where it's a hair salon, but it's decked out with Star Wars collectibles. And we're all Star Wars nerds. We listen to Star Wars music. We watch Star Wars all day. Talk about Star Wars toys. It's just the best place ever. Anyway, so we've got a bunch of those helmets on display, and as tempting as it is, like, I've had to not do it. Just like Captain Rex looks so good.
Yeah,
I just like, but they are discontinuing them now, I believe. So
yeah, no, it's very tempting. So I might have to get the Dark Trooper one. You might see that down the road.
Yeah. If there's one, you got to go Dark Trooper, don't you? This looks good. We don't have that one in the shop. But I haven't seen too many of them around, to be honest. But
see, you're kind of lucky because like stuff that you're just like, you know what, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. You know what? Well, let's buy it for the shop. let's put it on display in the shop.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, we've got a lot of stuff in the shop that the boss buys, like, because that's his base. That's my boss's collection. Like, he displays his stuff. We all sort of bring the occasional thing into work to display, but most of it's his. So I get to work next to a Hot Toys Cad Bane, like where my workstation is. I've got a Hot Toys Cad Bane, the new one. So I'm like, I'd love to have this at home, and I'm like, I actually get to look at it 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
So, like, do I need one at home? I'm like, I'm probably good. I can look at this at work every day. And even then, we open up the cabinets and we can repose and change the displays around and have a good play around with it and enjoy it. It's great. That's part of what I love about it.
That's pretty awesome.
So, just to wrap up the sort of the first group of questions before we get into sort of collecting centric questions, we've already sort of had a few from people, which is awesome. What's your favorite piece of Star Wars music?
That was a tough one. Because like you said, Anakin's what is it, Anakin's Deeds or whatever it's called, the one that takes place over Order 66. That's a great piece of music. The theme from Attack of the Clones, Across the Stars. I see Binary Sunset. Yeah, in the chat. Yeah, that one's a great piece. But I think like my favorite one is actually the Rey theme. Like just the piano, yeah, like that's just yeah.
I remember the first time I heard that in the cinema, like watching Force Awakens for the first time, where she's just where she gets on the sled sort of thing and slides down the hill.
Yeah,
it's oh man, that was just, I can see why John Williams didn't want anyone else to touch that music.
Like, yeah,
that's such a great theme.
It was brilliant. It was brilliant.
And the way it sort of evolves again, sort of, there's one moment towards the end of the credits for The Force Awakens where they intersect Rey's theme with the Force theme, essentially with Luke, hinting at their connection together in the next film. Like, I don't know, there's something about that moment right at the end of the credits, and it's just very subtle. It's just, I don't know, I love that moment.
Yeah.
Hey, Jeff's watching.
Yes.
Thanks, Jeff.
The asteroid music, yeah. That's another one. Great piece. Yeah.
It is. Yeah, so it's hard because there's so much music now outside of John Williams as well. So one of my favorite pieces recently coming out of the Ahsoka series, I've been listening. There's a lot of music from that series. If you get on, Kevin Kiner's got the 2 soundtracks you can download on Spotify. The hyperspace jump from the volume 2, episode 5, end of episode 5, where Ahsoka and they go to hop inside the mouth of the Purrgil to go through hyperspace. Like the music, the way that swells is just, that's such a beautiful piece of music. So just to sort of listen to the out of context of the show and just put the music on, that's such an amazing piece.
Yeah, and even the little nods that Kevin Kiner, he did those little nods towards John Williams, like he mixed in some of the original trilogy themes in there as well, which is great.
Yeah,
like if anyone should be scoring the new Star Wars movies, I think it should be Kiner.
Oh, big time. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think there'd be too many people that disagree with that. I think he's earned his stripes. Like he's been doing Clone Wars. Oh, we started Clone Wars would have been 2006 when they started doing that, I suppose. Maybe 2007 he might have started scoring. So we're talking nearly 20 years of Kevin Kiner working on Star Wars. Like I think he's pretty well versed.
Yeah.
Yeah, Patrick's saying, or Michael Giacchino, which is
Rogue
One's score. Considering he wrote that in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Like that's incredible.
Yeah.
Like that he was able to piece such an amazing score for Rogue One together in 6 weeks. It's just unbelievable. All right, so we've got a bunch of not a bunch, we've got a few collecting related questions, so we'll get through these. We've had some great questions from folks in the chat already. Let's start off. What's your favorite item in your collection?
So my favorite item, it's tough to choose a favorite. It really is, because I've got quite a few. So I've got a Han and Carbonite mini fridge that kind of sits beside my desk, which is one of my favorites. I have my original trilogy, special edition, sorry, of the original trilogy, the gold box set. So that was like the set of movies that started it all. So I have that one very high up there on my favorite collectibles in my collection. So that one's actually still still sealed. It has a sticker on it on the outside that says, you know, how many hours of bonus features are on the cassette or whatever, how many hours of deleted footage were added back to it or whatever. It's got all that information on it. So yeah, those are a couple big ones. Yeah, it's tough to pick a favorite. It really is. Like looking around the room.
It's like picking a favorite child sometimes.
It is, and I say that too. Yeah, I say that too. I've got like the Burger King glasses from 1977. That's a big, yeah. That one's up there. Darth Maul stuff always ranks pretty high. Like I've got a I don't know if it's in it's not in the shot here, but I got a Darth Maul piggy bank just off camera here, and it's Rebels Darth Maul, and he's got his lightsaber out, but it looks so good. Like you could fool people and they would think it was like a statue if they didn't see it like in up close and inspect it.
That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it is tough to pick a favorite though, for sure.
It is, yeah. I find I tend to revert with my personal favorites. I tend to revert to a lot of sentimental value items.
Yeah,
not necessarily things that I've gone out and bought myself, but things that are gifts. Things that people have picked up and they've thought of me and thought, you know, he likes Star Wars, I'll pick this up for him. And things that have a lot of memories. Like I have a lot of stuff that I brought back from like the Disney parks in my trips to the US, and all my keepsakes from Star Wars celebrations in Orlando and Chicago. So a lot of those sort of items, you know, hold a lot of memories. So that's sort of what I sort of revert to when it comes to favorite items.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the next question here? Anything in your collection do you consider to be unusual?
I think the most unusual thing, or that people would maybe find a little odd that I still have. I have sealed boxes of Kraft Dinner with I got 4 boxes. I got one of R2D2, C3PO, Darth Vader, and Yoda are on the 4 different boxes, and then like I got like 8 different sealed cases of like the Dentine, the plastic containers, like the Dentine gum, and I got 4 that have the I have 4 that have the like original trilogy. So Vader, I think the 2 droids are on one, and I think Yoda's on one, and then the other set of 4 is I think it was for the Force Awakens. So there's Kylo, there's Rey, there's BB-8, and a First Order Stormtrooper on those 4. So I would say those are maybe like the most unusual stuff that I have. I guess these guys up here too, actually. So those I've been asked about, these the like the Jawa there and the Yoda. Those are actually card candy bowl holders, like for the candy bowls for Halloween. You see them in a box, and you get the styrofoam characters, and they hold the little plastic bowls. So that's what those are. But they're cool. They look really cool. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, no, I'm gonna keep those.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I moved into this house, I sort of had to get some of those sort of unusual items out, and like I'd kept like boxes of Band-Aids from The Force Awakens. I'm like, a box of tissues that had Force Awakens, and I'm like, I really don't need these sort of consumable items. I had a box of cereal from Force Awakens that I kept, and I'm like, I don't need to keep a box of cereal anymore. It's just, I need to just redefine my focus. That was 2015. That was when the hype was just at its peak, and I was just grabbing everything and anything that had Star Wars on it. And it's just, I need to restrain myself next time we get an era of collectible madness like that again, and just just gonna hold back.
Yeah.
Just gonna hold back.
See, that's when I got like the gum and stuff, and I think I even got like some soup cans too, sitting on the shelf.
Oh,
but
yeah,
no, 2015, 2013 or whatever it was when the Force Awakens came out. Yeah, and then also 1999 when Phantom Menace came out. That I kind of went a little wild there. That was before I kind of shifted focus. Like I went out and bought all the 3 3/4 inch figures. Like I had like all of them on my wall in my bedroom, carded.
Awesome.
Like I had, yeah, like the Episode 1 card back with the Darth Maul on it. Like I had all of those figures. Yeah, and I was just like, no, this is a little too much, But here we are now, 450, 430 Funko Pops. So
at least with the canned soup, like in an emergency, like you've got some food.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this is, the apocalypse is here, but I've got a couple of cans of food.
Yeah, I'll find a way to cook the macaroni if I get trapped in here, right?
That's too good. All right. So, is there any item you don't have that you'd love to have in your collection? Do you have a holy grail you don't have?
Yeah. So, if I ever had the space and the money, so back when, again, 1999, when the Phantom Menace came out, all the promotional stuff. So here in Canada, and I think in the States, I don't know if they did it in overseas in Australia or anything, but like Pizza Hut, KFC, Taco Bell had like the shared promotional stuff, and I can't remember if it was Pizza Hut or Taco Bell, but one of them had like the life-size Darth Maul statue, and he's holding his lightsaber. So that if I had the money and the space and I found one in good enough condition, that's something that I would like to get before I die.
That would be cool. Yeah. I have seen, because they did, I think the Pepsi Corporation put out a Jar Jar as well. I think in that scale.
Yeah.
Like we don't have Taco Bell here in Australia. We had Pizza Hut is still around on a very small scale. They're not really much around anymore. KFC is huge, so we had promotions across KFC and Pizza Hut. Lay's chips, like
so much stuff back then.
But yeah, I know exactly the big Darth Maul statue you're talking about. It's got the big base. Occasionally, one of those will pop up on like Facebook Marketplace. Someone's trying to clear it out, and they're asking a very unreasonable price for it.
Yeah, it's the same here. The one I see here is somebody's got the Yoda from that promotion, and he's on that gray kind of tier base, whatever. So he's up. The gray base comes out maybe like 2 feet, 3 feet, and then Yoda's on top of that. And someone's asking like $1,000 for it, and I'm like, you know what? If I ever have $1,000, I'll find a way to get that to fit in the room.
Here we go. Linda says, we used to have the life-size malls in KFC, but people get breaking in and stealing them. Yeah, I was a bit younger to probably have known that back in 1999, but
it
doesn't surprise me. I doubt that'd be any different today.
Yeah, right.
So to wrap up collecting sort of centric questions, what is it about Star Wars memorabilia that think's important to fans?
What is important to fans about the Star Wars memorabilia? I think that just the nostalgia factor. I think because it takes, like for me, it takes me back to being a kid and seeing Star Wars for the first time. Seeing a lot of the stuff in like collectible stores and even online, like on Marketplace, I'll see stuff from time to time that I'm like, I'd love to pick up for the nostalgia factor. And yeah, a lot of it, just seeing it just reminds me of like going to the theaters and watching these movies. Like I got an Attack of the Clones poster by my desk here from the IMAX release of that. And, it takes me back to then, you know, seeing it in IMAX when they re-released it in IMAX and stuff. So just, I think the nostalgia factor.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just like, you know, being able to hold something from the movie, you feel a little bit closer to it. I think you feel you're a little bit more attached to the characters when you can physically bring something home and have it on your shelf, hold it in your hands, you know, continually look at a book. Probably more so, less so these days where we've got, you know, streaming media and stuff like that, where it's, you know, instantly accessible once more. But, you know, especially like, I don't know, I look over at my Power of the Force action figures and it's like, well, you know, that was when I wasn't able to put a VHS tape of Star Wars on. I was out in the garden playing with my Star Wars figures and, you know, having adventures with them, and it sort of created that bond with those characters even more so. And I think that's where even sort of the sequel trilogy missed the mark a little bit, was with the toys. I know they put out a lot, but I don't know, it didn't quite have the same feel, particularly once they got to Rise of Skywalker and they really cut back on the amount of action figures and collectibles they had for that film.
Yeah.
They didn't have that sort of tie to the characters once the movie was hitting and out there. And yeah, whether there's more selection out there to be able to grab these figures and bring them home. And I found throughout the entire sequel trilogy with the figures, the Force Awakens did a little bit, but after that, they really sort of slipped off. And it's background aliens, things like, you know, Hammerhead and all these background characters you get to know through the action figures more so than just watching movies and reading books.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's something they understand marketing wise for the future. I'd love to see, you know, just a little bit more go out to that sort of sense.
Yeah, for sure.
I know what I'm trying to say, but I hope everyone knows what I mean.
Yeah, no, but you're right. Like about like holding a figure in your hand, or just an item that reminds you of like a certain character in one of the movies, right? Too, like just big time.
All right, so I've got a couple more questions left for you before we start thinking about wrapping up. What are you most looking forward to in the future of Star Wars? We've got a few little bits and pieces on the horizon, but what is something you'd like to see? I don't know, what gets you excited about what's to come?
So I'm really excited to see the Acolyte, because I think we need something a little disconnected from the main story, you know, because like the Acolyte's supposed to happen like thousands of years before the prequels. So, and I kind of still think that we need some sort of like Jedi in Star Wars, or at least like them mentioning Jedi or mentioning the Force in some way, because that, when it comes down to it, that's what Star Wars is. But so like the Acolyte could be that kind of nice balance with like all the Jedi, the Sith and stuff, but it's like so far in the past where it's disconnected from everything. Like the only character we could possibly see that has anything to do with the prequels is maybe Yoda, right? Because he was alive back then, right? But
big time, yeah.
It's
something. It's the mythology, it's the magic, it's the fantasy sort of side of Star Wars that the Jedi and the Sith and the Force and all that give off. Whereas you know, Andor did a great job of going on without it, but you know, Andor, Cassian even bringing having that crystal with him. On Aldani during that mission, they talk about the crystal, and that's, you know, it's automatically a tie. And there's some very small links in there to the Force and the Jedi, but it's not explicitly out there as in like waving lightsabers around. So
but I think you need that little tie-in, at least like little bits of information, little sprinkling of the Force and Jedi and stuff like that, because that's what Star Wars is. That's what it started out as, was the Force and lightsabers.
Yeah, something to expand the mythology and learn a little bit more about the Force and the Jedi and how they operate, and even if they decide to go into, there's a couple of books in the High Republic I'm reading at the moment, or there was one, Path of Deceit, which is the one I finished that about a week ago, and that's starting to touch on one of the sort of different religious sects within the Force, and how they have different sort of belief systems operate with the Force being. The Force is basically like the God, and you have all these different sort of belief systems that interpret it different ways. So kind of the Jedi being one of them, the Sith being another one, and seeing how other people interpret the Force is I find something to be really interesting. So
that was one of the things I loved about Rogue One, even because like you saw a different side of like how Chirrut I guess interpreted the Force, right? Like he wasn't a Jedi, but he was still like he believed in the Force, he believed in this greater power that could protect him, right? So
I'd love to see more of that myself. So all right, to basically wrap up with the questions. What does Star Wars and being a Star Wars fan mean to you?
I think we kind of touched on this. Like I think it's like it's an escape from reality. It really is. Like the movies were always intended to be that way, and just going out and collecting, picking, not even like I don't necessarily even have to buy anything when I'm going out to these stores and seeing these things. Just going out and looking at these collectibles, whether they're toys or like movies or books, whatever. Like just seeing this stuff, it's a bit of an escape. Like for however long I'm out looking at this stuff, or I'm in my collection room working on a video or whatever. Like it's an escape from reality. It's just a huge passion, right? So like like it's just just an escape from reality, I guess, and something that is just mine, I guess, as well. If that makes sense.
It's definitely it's it's no different to being a Star Wars fan, Star Wars collector. It's really no different to a sports fan that collects sports memorabilia, and their escape is to go watch the Sunday football game or whatever it is,
and they're like, that's my team. Like I'm like, this is my thing.
And Star Wars in that sort of sport analogy, it's like you always love seeing Star Wars win, and I don't know, when you barrack for Star Wars and you root for Star Wars and it's fun, you enjoy it. It's a winning feeling. You get that feeling from it. Same as when you watch a sports team win or an athlete win something that you support. It gives you that same feeling. So I think that's a really, really great way to put it. Actually, I think you couldn't have said it better myself, really. But I think that's pretty much all the questions. So I think it's probably a good hour and a quarter. So I think we've got a pretty good idea of who you are as a Star Wars fan, and this is, like I said, this is the first sort of one back at doing this. This is something I want to do more of in 2024. Is just have a chat to different Star Wars fans and what makes us all tick. We're all different. We all like different things. Some of us like everything. Some of us Some of us are a little bit pickier about what we do and don't like. It doesn't make anyone wrong. It doesn't make anyone else right. It doesn't make anyone a bigger fan. It doesn't make anyone less of a fan. It is what it is.
And that's the beautiful thing about this fandom, right? Like you don't have to like everything. You can like different things, but what brings us together it's Star Wars, right? And it's we all it's that personal escape for all of us, and it's the same for all of us, I think, in a way, same but different. So,
and when there is so much different Star Wars to choose from, we can all have very sort of insightful conversations about what we like and what we don't like. And I don't know, it's important to have those conversations, I think, because it's easy just to sort of say, oh, you know, this sucks and you shouldn't like it because I don't like it. And it's, I don't know, I'd try to avoid those sort of conversations.
The toxicity. The toxicity.
Yeah, because it does still run rife in the community. It's unfortunately within the YouTube community, it's pretty damn good. Yeah, Paul's saying it perfectly here. It's at the end of the day, we're all Star Wars nerds, so we should stick together.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got to fight the Trekkies off.
Yeah, well said, Paul. Yeah, that's actually funny because I was watching Fanboys for the first time in quite a while, and
love that.
Such a great movie. Yeah, like fighting off the Trekkies, like that's just
yeah. It's like, why do you have a phaser in here? It's just scare off any Trekkies like you.
Yeah.
That's good. Have you watched the Disturbance of the Force documentary that just came out?
No, I haven't. I want to. That's on my list of things to watch. Because I think it's streaming now.
I just thought of that. Not sure. I don't think it is down here, but it might be elsewhere in the world.
Yeah,
I had to do a little bit of piracy, unfortunately, but I got to watch it and loved it. And if it does become available, I will throw it the money to have a copy of it.
Yeah. Now, did you watch the holiday special beforehand?
I have watched it before. It's not something that I really feel willing to watch again. It's kind of a one and done thing. I did revisit when Disney Plus put up the little Boba Fett animated thing. I did rewatch that. But yeah, the rest of it I don't need to revisit that at all. Like I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Linda's just asking, has anyone watched Rebel Moon yet? That's my job for tonight, actually.
Yeah. I've heard mixed reviews.
Yeah, I have too, but like most of the time I like to make up my own mind, so
yeah,
I don't know. I'm intrigued, you know, given that it was pitched as a Star Wars film, as a potential Star Wars film. And you know, I find, you know, with Zack Snyder, you either love his stuff or you hate his stuff. I don't know, the dude definitely has his very own distinct style of film.
Yeah.
But I'm excited to see where he goes. Yeah, the next sort of big sci-fi movie for me is going to be Dune Part 2 in March.
Yeah.
Like that's got me sitting on the edge of my seat in a big way.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Jeff saying it was decent, not the best.
See.
That's
what the movie should be, though. That's what the movie should be. If you find it enjoyable, that's what it should be. That's what movies are. They're supposed to be entertainment.
Yeah,
and enjoyable. Like there's no perfect movie.
Yeah,
there's ones that are really close, but there's no real perfect movie where, you know, you got perfect acting, you got perfect script writing. You know,
if every movie
there's going to be flaws.
Yeah, if every movie changed your life, they wouldn't become special. When you do find one that changes you in a physical way, like, or a mental way, like, it just wouldn't become special anymore.
Yeah.
So it's going to enjoy it. Just enjoy the ride. Whatever the story is, whatever the action is, just have fun with the movies. And if you enjoy it, who cares? That's good. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
If not, then you just go, oh, I'll watch something else. I'll go see something else.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
It's fine. All right. So before we wrap up, we'll get you to just give you a bit of a spiel on where people can find you online and various different places, and we'll get as many people in the chat here and anyone watching back later to go and subscribe and follow and do all that cool stuff. So
yeah, for sure. So you can find me on YouTube, Seriously Star Wars, and I do weekly Star Wars reviews, most of them being Funko Pops lately, but I do the odd Black Series figure review, and pretty much anything Star Wars that I pick up, I'll do a review on. And social media, so Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Seriously SW. You can find me on all the socials. And yeah, I got to say thanks, Jesse, for having me on. It's always a fun time chatting Star Wars with you.
It was good to be on your channel. Whenever that was, that felt like it was.
Yeah,
could have been 2
like
weeks
a while
ago.
ago.
Could have been 2 months ago. That was yeah, no, I had a great time with that, and I've been watching all the back plays after since then. Just seeing other people doing the same sort of thing, and it's been really fun to check them all out. And yeah, it's I don't think I've watched the latest one, but I will.
Yeah,
but yeah, I keep up the awesome work you're pumping out some serious content. There's lots of stuff for people to watch.
Yeah. On trying. Working.
It's a lot of work, isn't it? It is a lot of work.
Yeah, but it's easy when it's something you're so passionate about.
Exactly. Yeah. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
When it's fun, it's easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, if anyone else is watching would like to come on and join me like Christopher has today, and get to know you as a Star Wars fan, please reach out. You can shoot me an email, theforceswithjesse@gmail.com, or just find me on Instagram. I don't have messages set up through Facebook anymore, just because it's a bit of a pain to work through. So Instagram is probably the best spot, or email. And yeah, love to tee something up for the new year, and hopefully I can do this a lot more, as opposed to trying to divert from sort of what I've been doing with live streams into something a little bit more interactive with more people. So, yeah, something I've been wanting to do for a little while. So I'm pretty keen to make it happen. So bring on 2024, folks.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's it is Christmas Eve here. It's nearly Christmas Eve for you.
Yeah, getting close. Yeah. Yeah, a few more hours.
And yeah. This year has just gone so quick. I don't know where it's gone.
Yeah.
But yeah, hope everyone has a very safe Christmas festive period and New Year. And yeah, we'll see you very soon for more stuff. So thanks everyone for coming and hanging out. And yeah, may the force be with you all.
Yeah. Happy holidays, guys.
Just going to end it.